Good morning, everyone. Today I want to give you a little tour of my corner garden and my fireplace garden before I start cutting things back for the spring. Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel 90% Native. My name is Michelle and I grow native plants and I garden for the wildlife. So like I was saying, I want to give you a tour of two of my gardens. The first being the corner garden, which is behind me, and then the second being my fireplace garden, which is over here to my right. And they are both pretty much full sun pollinator gardens. The corner garden right here, actually both of the gardens, I would love for them to be more formal foundation gardens with like native shrubs and small understory trees and things like that. However, these areas are like the only areas other than my cutting garden that I actually get full sun. With that being said, I really just kind of reserve these areas for the pollinators. I actually have started adding a couple different shrubs into these gardens, but I probably won't ever transform them all the way over to formal foundation beds, just because it really is one of the only areas that I can incorporate full sun native plants for the wildlife and the pollinators. Again, like my last video, here is what my native plant garden looks like right now, right before I start cleaning back things for the spring. And I am the kind of person that likes a tidy garden, and so it is actually very difficult for me to leave all these stems up and not have things all nice and put away in the fall or in the spring. But the benefits to the wildlife of keeping the stems up so that the birds can eat the seed heads and then the insects can hibernate in the stems is just crucial. So just know that leaving this stuff up, if you still really want a clean garden and this bothers you, it's okay. It bothers me too, but I go ahead and try and think about the wildlife. So right here I have my lovely trash cans, and behind that or to the side is where I start my garden. And so right here you can already see that the nodding onions are starting to come up, and I love the way they look in early spring when they sprout. They kind of look like a very well behaved sedge. And then here we have the golden Alexanders, and they're starting to bloom right now, and it looks like when you look at the blooms that they're very short. They're not. That's just when they start blooming for the season, they bloom really short, and then they'll get maybe like this high, and they'll shoot up and they will have flowers that look like yellow Queen Anne's lace. So back to the nodding onion here, that is interplanted with Carolina petunias, and then the golden Alexanders are interplanted with Virginia strawberry as a ground cover. That's just where I've stored my stakes over the winter. And then the golden Alexanders continue down here. And if you remember, I used to have like a tripod there with coral honeysuckle. I've moved that coral honeysuckle to different areas of my yard, and I transplanted the Christmas tree that I did a video on right there, and that is a Juniperus virginiana, I think. So that's an eastern red cedar, and it is a cultivar, and I will put the name of the cultivar up on the screen. It is not going to get much wider than that, and then it will probably grow up to like here. So that eastern red cedar is interplanted with the golden ragwort. I'm sorry, the golden Alexanders. So over here you can see these golden Alexanders, the blooms are getting a little taller. Golden Alexanders are the host plant for the black swallowtail. Unfortunately, I've never seen the caterpillars on my golden Alexanders. They're supposed to be edible. You're supposed to be able to eat these stalks like you would celery. But you do need to know that there is a non-native copycat lookalike that is poisonous. So if you are ever out in the woodland hiking or something and you see what you think are golden Alexanders, unless you know for sure 100%, do not eat them. And then moving over here is the kind of the bulk of the corner garden, looking all sorts of a mess. So what I have is more golden ragwort over here that you can see popping up. I'm using common blue violets as a ground cover. This area right here is a grouping of blue wild indigo. And then the beds, like a lot of my beds, are lined with the carex. This is lined with carex blanda. I may move that over to be to a different carex. Over here we have the bottle brush grass starting to emerge. And under here, I noticed one of my favorites is fire pink. And then there's a lot of lyre leaf sage, which is really nice ground cover and really great for when there aren't a lot of blooms. But anyway, I have a section of my woodland garden where I'm massing that, so I'll probably move those. This is dwarf cinquefoil. This is a pretty aggressive ground cover. If you want an aggressive ground cover for the sun, this is a great one. And when I say aggressive, I'm serious about it, but it has really pretty yellow flowers. Behind that, this whole section right here is Monarda didyma, or Oswego tea. It is the red Monarda, and it really brings all of the hummingbirds. I have kind of like a hummingbird highway. Back here, I have New England aster. I think I'm gonna get rid of that. And then I tried to put in some Itea Little Henry cuttings in here last year, but I don't know if they survived. This right here is a button bush, and behind that is Joe Pye, and like this stalks are from the Joe Pye, and then wing stem. And I'm going to start moving that out because I want to make this area a little more formal and maybe do some carex, some sallow sedge around the button bush, if I can keep the deer off the button bush. So back here, actually, you can see more of that dwarf cinquefoil. It will spread everywhere. Oh, hey Violet, can you say hi? No? Okay. Over here is where I've incorporated a couple new shrubs. This shrubby St. John's wort has been there for a while, but I added 2 more that I had. And more golden Alexanders, shrubby St. John's wort, and then here is a Carolina allspice. And then moving down and around, I was able to get started cleaning this up. Just this little area actually though, for the spring. But behind it, this used to be dotted St. John's wort, and that's Hypericum punctatum. But I think that they all died from a disease that I was dealing with last year. But we have golden Alexanders spreading like crazy. There is a lot of great blue lobelia in here, and then short tooth mountain mint just steals the show in the summer, so that's starting to emerge. Behind the short tooth mountain mint, I have all those long, really tall seed heads. Those are turtle head. I have a mixture of white and pink. I'm not sure how I got the pink. And then coming in front of it is the mountain mint. Here's some seed heads from the mountain mint. This area would always get wet, so I put some rocks down, and then in here we have wild blue phlox, and then behind it I have blue flag iris. And then these violets right here, the ones that kind of take away from some of the formality I add to the beds, those are probably going to go into the yard for my bee lawn. Rattlesnake master, and I think what I'm going to do to see what it looks like is move my rattlesnake master and combine it with the Monarda didyma. Let's see if I got any. Oh, there we go. So the rattlesnake master is starting to emerge. Really conspicuous leaves, very identifiable. This area is more Carolina petunia. And then this is the sallow sedge. It gets huge and I love it because it takes up so much space, but I have 5 of them. And before I forget to tell you, we are now at the fireplace garden. So it's lined, and then I have the sallow sedge there, and 2 more in between, 3 different non-native azaleas. I'm going to move those because those from a design perspective don't look good. In here I have 3 shrubby St. John's wort. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 dwarf winterberries right in here. Last year I planted holy basil and different types of basil around here to try and keep the deer out. Like I planted rosemary here that's overwintered. So I am going to try that again. I also have mountain mint there. I'm actually thinking I might plant some of that mountain mint down here within the winterberry to keep the deer off of it. In this section back here, those are all stalks from swamp rose mallow and blue vervain. This tripod has a American wisteria on it. And then this section is a lot of grape blue lobelia, looks really, really good. And then I have fox sedge, and I think I'm gonna move that up front. And then this is a patch of swamp milkweed that the tussock moth decimated this year, which is great. You want, you know, your leaves eaten because that means you're supporting the wildlife. And then we come over here to my little stepping stone. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's what's making the noise. I found when I was cleaning out this pond, look what I found. Keep finding bubblers everywhere. Okay, turn that off. Just turn it over and then the sun can't see it. So in here I have wine cups, and then I planted in some wild stonecrop in there too. I was hoping that it would kind of grow underneath in the shade of the wine cup. So we'll see how this looks. But yeah, this is primarily just grape blue lobelia, swamp milkweed, and then I'll put a different type of sedge in here, maybe one that's not so overpowering like the fox sedge, and get the fox sedge up front. Okay, so let me step back so I can show you. Okay, and just keep in mind this is pre-spring cleanup, so it's a hot mess. The next time I take you on a tour of this area, this will look a lot different, but I wanted you to see again that I'm the kind of person that likes nice and neat looking things, and I do this for the wildlife so that they have habitat, they have places, they have things to eat, they have all that kind of good stuff over the winter. So all those stalks there are available. I leave especially the Joe Pye weed, they have pretty big hollow stems. And then this sallow sedge has bothered me all winter, the way it looks, but I know that's got to be like some great habitat for the non-migrating birds and things like that. Okay guys, so if this is content that appeals to you, I would love it if you would share my channel with your gardening friends and subscribe to my channel. And that's it for today. Just wanted to keep you updated on what's going on in my native plant gardens with this garden tour. It's the Fireplace Garden and it's the Corner Pollinator Patch Garden. And yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy gardening, and I will catch you again next time.